Well, hello and welcome to this edition of the Lynne Hayes Freeland Show. I feel like I want to be excited because of the content of the show, but the subject matter throughout this entire show is of a serious nature. Richard Garland is my first guest. He is an assistant professor of public health practice at the University of Pittsburgh. Welcome back, Richard. Wow, you and I go back a long way. We've been talking about this for a long time. We've been talking about street violence, our kids. But it's different. 2021 is different, isn't it?
Yes, it's been a challenge. Our communities, I think that COVID has had a lot to do with the rise in violence. I'm always talking about when we were first, when everybody was confined to their homes. Social media has played a huge part in the violence. Where kids, young people were on their phones, on their computers, and there was a lot of feuds going on while they were home, because people can, you get 30 seconds of fame on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. And then when people see them, people had cabin fever, and they just got buck wild. Drugs and alcohol is still at the foundation of many of the violence that we see. I've seen the increase in women who have been killed this year.
That's what I really want to zero in on, because there was a time that shooting a woman was off limits. Just didn't happen, was not acceptable.
Yes. So I think that most of the women that have been shot this year have been shot. They were either in a car with somebody else, with a dude that people were really trying to get at the dude, and they got to the woman. The woman was just the innocent bystander. And then there are some cases where the woman has been involved in, could have been a robbery. And I'm going to keep focusing on drugs and alcohol as at the foundation of this, where she may have been caught up in a drug deal, set a dude up. Those are the things that happen in our neighborhood. Things that a lot of people don't want to say that is going on in the neighborhood, but it is going on. This underground economy, it does exist. It exists all over this country. And especially when we talk about gun violence, the different feuds, everybody wants to point to gangs. I'm gonna say we don't really have that much of a gang problem, so to speak. I think that we have a real drug and alcohol problem here in America. Folks are more frustrated. Every other person has a gun right now. Every other person has.
Well, I was gonna say, guns now are a big issue. And that's how people solve things, with their gun.
Right. But you want to know what? I'm going to talk about, when we talk about kids, when we talk about teenagers, we have teenagers taking pills. A lot of kids are taking Percocets. They're mixing Percocets with other stuff. We see how quickly kids and even adults now, that they don't have no the trigger, they go from 0 to 60,
just like that.
Yeah, just like that. They don't think. I think about, when we talk about this thing about gun violence, I think about mass incarceration. Many, 16 and 17-year-olds are being tried as adult again. It's almost the normal thing right now you see on the news. You see this 16 and 17-year-old that they trying as an adult.
And let me jump in right there, because last week, shooting on the South Side, police arrested a 15-year-old. He's going to be charged as an adult. I don't know if he'll be tried that way, but he'll be charged as an adult. And the first thing everybody said was, well, why was a 15-year-old out at 1:30 in the morning with a gun?
So I said to you earlier about the dislocation of people, different housing communities have been closed. We look at the gentrification that has happened in Pittsburgh. We talk about Pittsburgh being one of the most livable cities. You know, for who? You know, we look at all the different houses that have been knocked down. Where did those people go? They went to other places. You know, and I said to you earlier, you know, that one of the things I love about Pittsburgh is how friendly everybody is in Pittsburgh. But right now, if we go to certain communities, people don't even know their neighbors. They say, we don't even talk to them. You know, that's an issue for me.
Because they've been relocated, they've been transplanted in new neighborhoods.
Yes.
But to your point then, people still bring the same baggage that they may have had in the old neighborhood.
Absolutely. And that could be in direct violation of what this other underground economy or this underground people are doing that, you know, society doesn't really look at. They look at some folks in the urban communities as the dreads of the community, you know, until, you know, I said earlier that every other person has a gun right now. There's most, the ATF, FBI, even Pittsburgh police will say, and the district attorney will say, most of the guns that are coming into the urban communities are coming from suburban communities. You know, they talk about straw purchases, but drugs and alcohol, you know, folks in these suburban communities are using drugs. Where do they come? They come to the hood to get them.
Come to the city and get them. Hold that thought. We got a lot more to talk about, the city, the county, and I want to talk about that other question when people were saying, where were those kids' parents? And you made a good point to me. I want to talk about that. We got a lot more to talk about when the Lynne Hayes Freeland Show continues, and a medical update as well. So stick around.